Hey you guys, welcome back to Channel Claire. Now it's really strange how different reports will come and the tones of how the reports will come as I'm seeing on Twitter, because that's how I get most of my updates of what's going on in this whole case. So we know that yesterday he finished his final day giving evidence, or people think lack thereof, and he might have gotten emotional. However, then I see other commentators, I'm guessing, or other accounts, who say that he was calm, he handled himself well, this, that, and the other, but then you will get from other publications and articles that he bombed, he had no evidence, he did horrible, he got overly emotional, he didn't know what he had no evidence at all. It's such a stark contrast, and obviously I say that all the time. We have two sides to this situation. Well, I guess three. And they're very divided. I see it in the comments. People do not like Harry and Meghan, and people really do like them and are on their team and have sympathy and, are supporting them. And then you have people who are, I guess, like me, who are speculative about what's happening and have questions. Now, I did see someone commented that like Popcorn Planet was also kind of like me, where they were rooting for Harry and Meghan and everything, and then the car chase situation happened and it kind of like threw everything out of whack. And that's still kind of like in the back of my head, like, what the fuck? It was like this big deal and now it's nothing at all. And it's like the world has moved on. And it's just like, but a near catastrophic car chase through New York and we've heard nothing more about it and we've just moved on. So that did give me pause. I will be honest. I will say that I don't dislike Meghan. I don't dislike Harry. I think that Harry is in a difficult situation and people are like, oh, well, he only did this because of Meghan. But he is citing all these times throughout his childhood and his upbringing where the media and these articles have affected him. Now, I do believe that since Meghan came on the scene, it has gotten a hell of a lot worse with the media and the press, and that it really, she is probably the reason he's gone ahead and decided to do this whole court case and put himself out there as the first senior royal in over 130 fucking years. So, I wanted to finish up kind of talking about what's in his witness testimony, the 55 pages, see what else is in there. I see here Sky News says Prince Harry leaves the High Court after his final night giving evidence. The Duke of Sussex has answered questions about a prank voicemail left by his brother, a visit to a strip club, and his breakup with Chelsea Davy. So they talked about quite a bit yesterday, and at the end of it, it seems as if there wasn't much going on. But then I see this account here. It says, for Sussex Squad, I went to court this morning. Prince Harry came across well, calm, softly spoken, intelligent. The other barrister made some stupid comments, but Harry kept his cool. I got the impression the judge liked him. Me and a few others said, we love you, Harry, and he smiled. So he does have supporters. So that is a positive view of what was going on in court with Harry. But then we have the GB News that says Prince Harry breaks down after admitting, I don't know, 18 times during bruising grilling. So it's like, which one is it? Did he do well or did he not do well? But because there's no effing cameras in the courtroom, I can't make that decision for myself. I can't see his tone or how he's talking or his inflections or his face or if he's getting red or if he feels flustered. I can't see any of that. So I'm left to kind of go with other people who are in the courtroom across the pond and all this, publications giving their spin of what they think is happening in the courtroom. So like, I'm very much coming from it from that aspect of like, I'm not there, obviously, and I can't see it with my own eyes like I could with the Johnny case. So, like, I'm not going to say whether Harry's done well in court or whether he's done awful in court because I didn't see that shit with my own eyes, and I don't feel comfortable giving that opinion. You know what I mean? And also, little Miss Kate, oh my god, they're doing this shit on purpose. I swear to God, having her go to like all these engagements, acting happy go lucky, doing her thing. She was at this Maidenhead Rugby Club, and she's like going all sporty spice and stuff, had the ponytail and whatnot. I'm like, I don't even think I've ever seen her in a ponytail. I'm sure she's had it before, but I don't recall seeing it. Typically her hair is down, but like you have this picture of her smiling and being athletic and playing ball or whatever, rugby. And then we have Harry, who is sitting in court taking on the media. I could only imagine at the end of the day, like once Kate and William, they get home from their engagements, and what is it that they talk about? Like, this shit has to come up. Like, it has to come up. They have to talk about these things in some type of realness. Like, although they don't say anything or make any statements through the royal family, because remember, the royal family has said nothing about anything at all. Like, hushed mouths, like they're not saying shit. I really want to know what is being said behind closed doors. I wish I could know. So let me bring up the witness statement again so we can look a little bit more into it. Also, I did just see, and it's amazing how Variety, for one, has been a publication that has done the switch up on Johnny, okay? Now all of a sudden they want to be reporting positive shit for Johnny. So I did see that for Gian DuBarry, the movie that he just debuted in Cannes, that got like a 7-minute standing ovation and everything like that with May Wan, and it was all cute on the carpet and doing their due. Apparently, it says that Johnny Depp's new film lands U.S. distributor. So we're going to be able to see this movie here in the States. I've been waiting for this. This is such my type of movie, completely up my alley. Let's see what it says. Maybe it'll tell us when. Sorry for the segue. Let's see. May 1's It has been acquired by Vertical for North America following its world premiere on opening night of the Cannes Festival. So Vertical has bought this movie so that it can be distributed in the States. So since it's been out, it has grossed nearly $4.1 million for more than 550,000 tickets during its first 2 weeks in theaters. Okay, that's pretty good. Of course, I don't know about like movies, like, but I think that sounds good. The film was acquired by Netflix for second window rights in France, only received financing from Red Sea Film Foundation, budgeted in the 22 million range. And they filmed at Versailles, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, so we have the US distribution, but I don't see where it says the date. So we're gonna have to watch out on that and see if we can get the date of when we can actually start seeing this movie in the States so we can get our tickets so we can support, because this is something I really want to effing see. Okay, so when we last spoke on this, right, we left off where Harry was talking about his relationship with the press and how he feels like within every single relationship he has, there's always been this third party, which is the press, the media, that is integral at mixing and stirring up the dang on pot and basically creating hella fucking issues for him. And he's tired of their shit. So that's where we left off. Then the witness statement goes into my associates. So it says, during the relevant period, I was in regular contact and often exchanged voicemail messages with the following individuals. His Royal Highness, Prince of Wales, my brother, he is now the first in line to the throne. Due to his position, the press have always been very interested in him. As brothers, we naturally discussed personal aspects of our lives as we trusted each other with private information we shared. We would often speak over the phone and regularly left voicemails for one another containing very private and sensitive information about our private family and professional lives. Now, I, for one, I am not one to leave a voicemail. Like, if I call and you don't pick up, or I'll send you a text or something like that. I barely even listen to my voicemails. I don't know. Maybe that's an old school thing, but I definitely don't fuck with no voicemails at all. But they apparently hacked into their goddamn voicemails and are listening to their private conversations. And I just think that it's disgusting. If they're found to have been proven to do this shit, which, you know, in my opinion, they probably did, because I do feel like they're that pressed as the press. They're fucking pressed as hell to get this information about these people because it makes them money. So I very well do believe that the hacking happened. Now, whether they can prove it or not is a different fucking story. Is it fucked up and wrong? Yes. So they're getting in their voicemails and they're talking about information with their private family issues and professional matters. They would also discuss their personal relationships, educations, and careers, as well as social arrangements over the phone and voicemails. I am aware that my brother was also a victim of phone hacking and unlawful information gathering. He also goes on to say that his mother also was a victim of this. He says that they were obviously very close up until her death in 1997. They were regular telephone contact where when they weren't together, they were in contact via the phone, especially as he was in boarding school. Private information relating to me would have been present in voicemails left on her phone by members of my family or the royal household. Also, His Royal Highness King Charles III. Private information was of great interest to the press, and their conversations and voicemails that were left on landline phones also were hacked. Frances Shand Kidd, his maternal, I probably butchered her name, Kydd. Frances Shand, I probably butchered that, it's so bad, but that is his maternal grandmother. The press were always interested in her, as they were anyone else that spoke regularly to his mother, and they wanted to find out information about her and her sons. Chelsea Davy, a former girlfriend of mine, we met in about early 2004. They were in a relationship and continued on and off till about 2010. Our relationship was long distance for the majority of the time they were together. With Chelsea and I often living in different countries, we relied heavily on communicating via phone. We spoke naturally about all types of personal matters, including all aspects of our relationship, and this was often through voicemail. As my girlfriend, I trusted Chelsea with the most private information of my life, and vice versa. So they was in his conversations with his girlfriend at that time. Imagine somebody is in your phone, all up in your messages to your man. I could not imagine. Y'all, the shit they were finding my messages. I would not be prepared. I would not want that shit. And I think that it helps if people think about, well, what if this was me in this situation? Should it take that, putting yourself in other people's shoes to feel sympathy? No. But, what if that was you? I would not want nobody with your man, oh my God, pictures and, oh my goodness. That's just, it's honestly, it's too much. Say what you will, you don't like them, you think this is dumb, you don't think that they should be doing this, that, and the other. Can we all at least agree that hacking into somebody's phone, computer, voicemails, texts, whatever, is uncalled for? Can we agree on at least that? I don't know. Also, Mark Dyer, or Marco as he called him, a former royal equerry and still a close friend. So they would talk about stuff in their life as well. Helen Asprey, his private secretary. So she was all in his shit, knew the most private information about him because that's his assistant pretty much. Guy Pelly, an entrepreneurial friend of his. Jamie Lawther Pinkin, private security. Alexandra Shan, a close companion and confidant. Patty Harvingston, his father's former communications secretary. Thomas Inskip, a former school friend. Jamie Murray. So he had to go through all this shit. Also, it says, Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales, my brother's wife. Catherine and my brother started dating in 2003. We occasionally exchanged voicemails in which we discussed private and sensitive matters regarding our family and personal lives. We would also make plans for social arrangements over voicemail. Oh, Lord! Could you imagine? He then goes into the use of his mobile phone and voicemail. He says, I can't recall when I first was issued when he first got his cell phone by the institution, but I think it was when I first went to Eton when I was still a minor. So he got his first cell phone from the institution when he went off to school at Eton. I think I was like 16 when I got my first cell phone. It was one of those things where you could flip it this way and then you could flip it that way, and I thought it was so fucking cool and I loved it, and it was little. Oh my god, like, yeah, I think I was 16. I think that's like an appropriate age, because anything after that, younger than that, it gets messy. 16, like, you start going out, going to the mall, hanging with your friends, and you do need to be in contact with your parents and shit. So I think 16 is a good age for a cell phone if I were to have kids. So he got his cell phone when he was going to school. He was heavily involved in various commitments during this period. His voicemails would include private and sensitive information about his relationships, his operational security, and that of his family. They were also getting information about his work with the Army. And then he says of how he knows. Okay, so this is kind of really what I wanted to see, because how do you know when someone is hacking your phone? Like, what are the signs? So he says unusual mobile activity, all right? Let me fix this. Unusual mobile activity. I remember on multiple occasions hearing a voicemail for the first time that wasn't new, but I don't remember thinking it was particularly unusual. I would simply put it down to perhaps a technical glitch, as mobile phones were still relatively new back then, or even just having too many drinks the night before and having forgotten that I listened to it. So he said he would be hearing voice messages for the first time, but they weren't showing new. Like, somebody else had already gone onto his phone and listened to them prior before he could even do that. And he's like, I didn't listen to that. Why is this showing like I listened to? And that is something that you would kind of put off, like, oh, that's very easy to kind of put off in your mind and explain away like it's a glitch, like it's like something you wouldn't even fucking think about. But if that happens to you, maybe you're being hacked. Now, let me stop. I'm not gonna make nobody paranoid. But interesting. Okay. So he also says, I wouldn't go into my voicemail unless the little envelope symbol flashed up on my phone, signaling to me that I had a new message. Sometimes this symbol would vanish before I had a chance to listen to the voicemail. So that notification would go away because somebody was already in his motherfucking voicemail. So it was no longer new. I don't know how long after they'd been listened to that the symbol vanished, presumably right away. I also distinctly remember people saying to me, did you not get my voicemail? On both a personal and work-related level. I was like, no, and sometimes I would go back to my voicemail to look, but still couldn't find it. So they was deleting shit too? If they find out these people did this shit. But it seems like the Mirror pulled this lawyer out like, I don't know. He also says, I also received some missed calls and hang-up calls. But again, I don't remember thinking that they were particularly suspicious at the time, although I now understand their significance in terms of phone hacking. Probably because if you answer it, like, it connects in somewhere where they can probably get in more information to your phone. Like, if you get one of those text messages that have that, like, a link in it, and it's like a scammy one, if you press that link, then they can get into your shit. You have to, like, quick delete that thing. If you know, especially because sometimes it'll even come from, like, your bank or something like that. These scammers, if these scammers put all that energy and talent and thought process it takes into scamming people and doing wrong, if you took all that energy and talent and put it into doing something positive, where do you think you would be? Like, it's so annoying. It's so effing annoying. With the benefit of the knowledge I have now gained from the details of how phone hacking took place, I believe that both mine and my associates' voicemail messages were hacked by the defendant, and so he's saying hacked by the Mirror, and that it used other unlawful means to obtain private information about me, including material that has come from listening to live calls I also made on my landline. So they were not only tapping their, cell phones, they were bugging their phones at home too. Like, how do they do that though? Like, how do you intercept someone's like personal cell phone? Like, these people who do this shit are so smart. Like, I can't even. I can't. So then he goes on to the impact of MGN's intrusions into my life. And this goes on and on and on. I cannot believe this is 55 pages. He cites article names. Like, he has the articles and is saying exactly, okay, this article on this day was released by the Mirror, and this is how the fuck it made me feel. Oh my gosh. So he says this one here: Prince's take to the hills for gala, Mirror, July 17th, 2000, written by Ian Miller. This article was published on page 9 of the Daily Mirror and written by Ian Miller, reports that my brother and I would not be attending the gala pageant to celebrate the 100th birthday of our great-grandmother, the late Queen. I understand that Ian Miller is known in this litigation for being involved in the instruction of private investigators. So he's saying this guy who wrote this specific article is known of getting private investigators to do shit. I'm told by my solicitors that he was a frequent user of commercial and legal services and also used JJ Services and Searchline, all entities known to have engaged in unlawful information gathering techniques. He also appears in Steve Whitmore's contact list seized by the ICO in March 2003, which I understand to be significant. The article states we are sticking to our controversial plans to join friends on a trip to the Lake District, 270 miles away from the event, and that we will return to London on her actual birthday on August 4th. The article includes a comment from a spokesperson from St. James Palace that stated that the decision had not caused ripples in the royal circles, and confirming that it was a private matter that no one in the family was upset about. Okay, I don't recall this article from the time, but I do know I didn't attend the pageant. What strikes me about this article is that the comments from St. James Palace make clear that the decision as to where William I would be was a private matter. Proactive palace statements were made only on special or important occasions. I do not believe a statement would have been made about this. It seems that the palace were approached with information about a possible fallout from the decision for us to miss the event, which they then responded to. It's only now, looking back with benefit of hindsight of knowing that the defendant's journalists were doing, that you question how they got this kind of information to put out to the palace at all. So he's saying that there's this event for his late queen mother, and they weren't going because they wanted to go to this event with their friends in the Lake District, and it wasn't creating any ripples. Nobody gave a fuck. Do what it is. Come on the day of the birthday. You don't need to be there the whole time. And that was a private matter, but somehow that got out into an article. How did that happen without there have been some hacking? So he is giving instances. Harry's time at the bar, September 19th, 2000. Snap, Harry breaks like William, November 11th, 2000. Talking about him chipping a bone in his thumb. Tiggy Leggy Walk, written by Wayne Francis on September 2000, about him being asked to be a godfather. So he's like, how do y'all have information about all this shit that is seemingly private But y'all putting it out in articles. Harry took drugs. Ooh, excuse me. Harry took drugs, page 1, and Cool It Harry, page 11. Posted Sunday, January 2002. Talking about him doing drugs. These allegations, which appeared on the front page of Sunday's paper and on page 11, reported on allegations that I had been taking drugs with friends at the Rattlebone Inn. There were follow-up stories on a series of stories published by the News of the World, where members of the staff in the News of the World had presented my father with a story about habitual drinking and cannabis and cocaine use. Oh my God, Harry, this is just... Harry's sick with kissing disease, March 29th, 2002. So they said he got dang on mono, and he didn't want people to know he got mono. This article, which appeared on the front page of the Daily Mirror, marked as exclusive, and continued on page 4, revealed that I had contracted glandular fever. It reported that doctors had confirmed the diagnosis following a blood test some 2 weeks prior. Like, he's right. How the fuck did y'all know about my blood test and shit? Unless you're hacking me. I get what he's saying. I get what he's trying to do. I really do. Because it's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up to be going into somebody's phone and getting all this information and creating articles. And I see where he's like, okay, there's things where he's reading these articles himself and he sees the points of truth and he's like, hold up, how do y'all know that? Who is telling you that? And that can really create a lot of discord within the family because you are looking at each other like, who is telling my business? And it's all the press. It's the press's fault. And I do see how the media and publications and have created a lot of issues for Harry and Meghan and Harry as a couple and just in the royal family in general. They are like married hand in hand, but like enemies of each other at the same time. This shit is crazy. Like, he goes on and on with article headlines. Like, it keeps fucking going. Harry is a Chelsea fan. Mirror posted November 29, 2004. When Harry met Daddy, Harry's girl to dump him. Chelsea is not happy. Chel's shocked. So they went in a lot. You did what? They went in a lot on his relationship with Chelsea. But I don't know what he expected. You know what I mean? You're a young royal at this time, and someone did have a comment, an issue with me saying, you know, like, we have these two young couples when I was talking about Meghan, Harry, and William and Kate. They're not young, but they are young compared to Charles and Dangle and Camilla. They're the new generation of the royals. They're the young couples. Like, they are the young couples, so, like, they are young couples to me, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't think that this is going to pan out the way that he wants. And I hope that I eat my words. And I hope I can come back on here and say, you know, he won, because I do think that this is fucked up. And they went in a lot with him and Chelsea and their relationship. And being a young couple, there's all types of drama going on. And then you have this on top of it. But I don't know what they expected, because they are a young couple and it's interesting and it's hot and it's sexy and like people want to fucking know. Of course they're going to plaster you up front page of Dangle and people going out to the clubs and everything like that. Like, of course that's going to happen. But I don't think you should be hacking into people's shit. Like, that is just so unnecessary. Y'all, Johnny is out and about on tour, back with the boot on. I saw he was dancing on stage. He was having a good old time, getting it together. I see this person here has taken a picture of Johnny, but yeah, he has a boot on. Yep, that's a boot. But his birthday is tomorrow too. So happy early birthday to Johnny, because it is Thursday today when I'm doing this. So happy birthday, and I hope that you have a splendid time in some villa somewhere far off, or maybe on your island, if he still has his island. But no, in some villa off in the French countryside, you know, doing his due, getting some peace and quiet. But yeah, you guys, this stuff with Prince Harry and Meghan in this court case, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with them. Johnny Depp reportedly is refusing to do new Pirates Caribbean movie because of the way Disney treated him during the Amber Heard debacle. Depp crushed Heard in court and apparently isn't ready to forgive Disney for abandoning him. So I've seen this article a couple times come down my timeline, but I'm like, where are they getting that from? Because I thought he said he would think about it, or it's like a possibility at least. Oh, what's him in this yellow shirt? I'm just going down my timeline now. But yeah, you guys, we're gonna see what happens with Johnny. Not with Johnny. I got Johnny on my brain now. Like, I was literally just like stuck. Like, so fucking stuck for a moment. But we'll see what happens with Harry and his court case. I don't think it's gonna pan out the way that they want, but we shall see. And I will catch you guys a little bit later. Bye. JK, I'm back. So I just saw this, right? And obviously, The Idol came out, right, with Lily Rose Depp, Johnny's daughter. And I personally have not watched it yet. I've been seeing mixed reviews. I just haven't had the time or taken the time to watch it yet and put it in my, you know, my schedule, my rotation of shows that I indulge in. But I just see this tweet. Someone says, one thing about the British tabloids, they are not on Johnny's side. And it's because the headline says, Johnny Depp is proud of daughter Lily Rose for starring in torture porn series, The Idol. Torture porn. That's what it says. Had to put his name in bold. Johnny Depp's daughter is proud of, like, saying that she's in porn. It's just like, Johnny Depp is proud of daughter Lily Rose for taking on her scandalous role in torture porn series. Why do they keep saying that? The Idol, and believes that the furious controversy surrounding the series, for which she went topless and filmed a scandalous masturbation scene, is a sign that she's doing something right. So there's that, but where's the torture? How is pleasing yourself torture? Where's the torture? It's highly explicit. There's drug use. It's going to be sex. It's going to be drugs. It's going to be rock and roll. Like, we all knew this, but they always want to put his name next to something that is negative or something that is violent because they want to push that fucking narrative all the goddamn time. But I forgot. I just saw that. I was just like, these people.